Hey, Taz, do you have any questions about our meeting we had last week?
No, I kind of looked over it. I don't really know if I need any of this or not.
Sure, no worries. So you mind if I ask you a couple of questions real fast before we get started?
Sure.
Do you currently have any type of supplemental benefits? Do you have any of the products like we offer through somewhere else?
No, but I mean, I have major medical insurance and it's pretty good.
Perfect. Do you happen to know what your deductible is on your major medical insurance?
I think it's around 6,000 for us.
6,000?
But we don't go to the doctor a lot.
Perfect, yeah, that's good. Means you don't have any sicknesses. Any major illnesses or injuries in your family?
I mean, I don't have anything. No, my kids aren't sick or anything. They're pretty healthy.
Perfect. A history of illnesses from anything from diabetes, heart attacks, strokes, cancer?
I mean, a couple people have had cancer in my family, extended kind of. My mom did, but it's mostly grandparents or stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So now, are you married?
No.
Not married. Okay, so I heard you say you had kids. So if you don't mind me asking, how many kids do you have?
2 boys.
2 boys. All right. So did you have any questions about any of the products before I take some information down from you?
I guess the one that I think we probably would use the most is the accident.
Are the boys pretty active?
Yes. Yeah, they both play sports and they're boys.
Boys are crazy. Did you happen to have the folder with you that I left with you last week?
I don't. Okay. I left it at home.
Yeah, I understand completely. Well, I brought some information, and if you don't mind, I'll go through some things with you real quick as I take your information. So, of course, we are supplemental benefits, and like I said last week, our products are designed to help pay people cash if they get sick or hurt. They can use that money for whatever they want to use it for. You can use it for a house payment, you can use it for a car payment, for groceries. It doesn't matter, but it isn't major medical insurance, so we're not here to change anything you currently have. It's designed to help fill the gaps of what you currently have, right? So $6,000 is your current deductible. If you were involved in a major illness or an injury, how would you meet that deductible? Savings specifically designed to help with that?
No, I mean, I'd probably just pay them monthly.
Pay them monthly, right? That's the good thing about medical bills. They can't hit you on your credit as long as you're attempting to pay something. But what about the out-of-pocket expenses that we don't think about, like house payments, car payments, and groceries? So if you were sick and injured, or one of the boys were sick and injured, and you couldn't work, who's doing that?
Jeff.
Jeff? All right. So if you or the boys were sick and injured and you couldn't, how would you pay your bills if you couldn't work? You have savings saved up or anything like that?
I mean, a little bit. We could maybe get by for a month.
Okay. Well, that's better than most people, right? Most people are living paycheck to paycheck regardless of their income. So before I go through the products, and I'm just going to do a brief overview of what we discussed last week. You can stop me at any time if you have any questions. Okay. But before I jump into anything, do you mind if I collect some information? Because whether you choose to go with any of these products or not, Chad is making the accidental death and dismemberment policy available to you. Okay. So that's $12,000 that'll be paid to your beneficiary if you pass away in an accident. Okay. And so I'm going to gather that information as we go through. Okay. Is that cool? So you have a beautiful name, but an unusual name. So would you mind telling me how to spell that?
Sure. Thais.
Thias is how I would have said it,
Precisely.
Right?
Most people do.
And what's your middle initial?
L.
L. And last name?
Haran, H-A-R-A-N.
H-A-R-A-N. Perfect. And your date of birth?
2/2/89.
All right. And your social?
113426783.
All right. That sounds familiar. All right. And when did you start working here at ABC?
Last year sometime. I can check.
Best guess. What do you think the month was? It was in 2023?
Yeah, June 2023. Yeah.
Okay. June 1st of 2023 is what I'm going to put down. It's not a huge deal. As long as you've been employed more than 90 days, you're eligible for the benefits that Chad is offering. And of course, this is open enrollment, so you'd be eligible regardless to make any additions. But like I said last week, the best part about our products is you can cancel at any time.
Okay. Can I add anything at any time too?
See, that's the only thing we can't do. That's a great question. You can only add additional coverages when there's a major life event, a death, a birth, a marriage, or a change in pay. So let's say you got a promotion to a manager, you'd be able to adjust your benefits at that time.
Okay.
But other than that, you would only be able to do it once a year during open enrollment. And so if you choose to participate in any of the products, they will go into effect on September 1st. So
Okay.
you won't see it come out of your first paycheck till September.
Okay.
And so you can change it on combined at any time. We can't change it on you though.
Okay.
Okay? And what's your job title here?
Interpreter.
Interpreter.
Go with what I know.
I like it. And just because I am as country dumb as they come, can you spell interpreter for me?
INTERPRETER.
Perfect. All right. And I just want to make sure, but Chad has you listed as a weekly employee, says everybody is paid weekly. Is that how you're paid?
Yeah.
And what is your annual gross salary? How much do you make before anything's taken out of your paycheck?
I'd have to look and see.
You know your hourly wage?
Yeah, I make 31 an hour.
31 an hour. Okay, and you work typically 40 hours a week?
35
35?
to 37, yeah.
Okay, so just to be safe, we're going to say 35. So we're going to say 35 times 31. So you make about 1,085 a week. I'm going to take that times 52,
Okay.
which is about 56,000 in annual income. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
about right.
Perfect. And I'll verify that if anything changes, let me know. But it's important with our disability product that we have your income accurate.
Okay.
Okay? And you said you worked, I'm going to put 35 hours.
All right.
And can I have your home address?
It's 172 Main Street. I'm not giving out my address.
Is that here in, no, don't blame me. Is that here in Nashville?
No, it's in Spring Hill.
Spring Hill. Suze, you have a drive here every day, huh?
I do. It's really
All
fun.
right.
37174.
37174. And what's a good phone number for you?
815-370-4010.
And a good email address for you?
ties.haran@ia.combined.com.
Combined.com. That's COMBINED.
Yes.
All right, can you verify your email address just to make sure it's accurate?
Yes, that's correct.
Perfect. All right. So now I'm going to add your boys to the system real fast.
Now, do I have to cover them, or can I get like
No,
numbers
you
for
do
if I
not
just-
have to cover them. I think it's important that we list them just in case it makes it easier to make changes. Again, you get that $12,000 accidental death and dismemberment policy completely paid for. And so we'll have their information if you choose for them to be beneficiaries down the road. They're at least in the system.
Okay.
But there's nobody's reaching out to them or anything like that. It's just for Chad's purposes and Combined's purposes. All right. So we are in Nashville. So I'm going to change this to Nashville, Tennessee. This is where I'm taking the applications, or taking your information in this case. All right. So we have to go through each product briefly, just so you know what everything is and what it entails. So after I get the information for your boys, I will cover every product for you, just briefly. So you said you had two boys.
I do.
Start with the oldest. What's his
Torin.
first name? Torin? Is that Torrin?
It is.
All right. I wonder how I knew that. Same last name?
Yes.
And what is his date of birth?
5/23/15.
1915. That ain't going to work. And he is a male, right?
Yes.
All right. And you said you had two, so what is your youngest son's?
Killian.
Killian. K-I-L-I-N.
Yep.
And same last name?
Correct.
And what is Killian's date of birth?
8/28/16.
And, all right, perfect. So I know you had a few questions about the accident policy, but I'm going to go through them briefly with you, just so you remember what everything is. Now, I always start with disability, and the reason I start with disability, in my opinion, it is the most important insurance on the marketplace today, right? I mentioned that in the education, but I think it's important because people insure their homes, they insure their cars, but their most valuable asset is their ability to earn an income. So I already asked, I know you have about a month's worth of savings, but Lord forbid something happened to you. Now, on disability, it can only cover you. So you would have to be the one that was sick or injured. It can cover anything from, hospital, and have to have surgery and you have to miss work for 6 weeks, you're in a car wreck. If you plan to grow your family in the future and you're out of work for pregnancy, it'll cover 6 weeks on a standard delivery, 8 weeks on a C-section. But any questions about this?
So even if my son might need to get surgery done. So even if he had to be out for a while, I can't use it if I have to be home to take care of him?
No, unfortunately not. It only covers your income if you happen to be sick or injured.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Let me show you some numbers on it real fast. There's a few things you want to think about when you think of disability, and that's how much would it pay me if I missed work? And that's done on a monthly basis. So if you happen to miss 15 days, it would pay you for 15 days minus your elimination period, which we'll come back to. But the maximum benefit you're allowed to receive by law is $2,800 paid to you. And that's about 60% of your income that would be paid if you miss work for 30 days. And the way it's calculated is that $2,800 is divided by 30, and then it's paid based off of that number per day. And it's calendar days, so you don't have to just miss the work days. If you're out of work from Monday to Friday and you return to work on the next Monday, it's going to count the 2 weekend days in benefits as well.
Okay.
But it is 60% of your income. And that total cost would be $15.77 per paycheck. So that would be per week, and that would give you $2,800 and would pay you up to 3 months. So if you're out of work for 4 months, it would only pay you for the first 3. But if you're out of work for 2 months, it's going to pay you for both. And the benefit doesn't kick in until you've missed at least 7 days worth of work. With the exception, if you happen to be hospitalized, it waives that, which means it has day 1 coverage, or if you have outpatient surgery, it's going to cover you day 1 as well.
So if I have because they've already been my wrists have been starting to hurt, so like carpal tunnel, if I had that kind of surgery, would it cover that or no?
Absolutely would, absolutely. Now, you say your wrists have been hurting. Have you had any medical treatment for your carpal tunnel at all?
No, but as an interpreter, we all kind of end up there eventually.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I did not even think about that. Yeah. And the reason I asked that is there's what's called a 12-12 pre-existing clause on all of our policies, which means anything you were treated for in the previous 12 months won't be covered for the first 12, but as long as you've not received medical treatment for that ailment, it will cover that as well. But you have to have the policy in place for 30 days before that would start coverage.
Okay, so I should wait to get that
at
looked
least,
at.
at least until October 1st.
All right.
So you want to go with the $2,800 benefit amount? That's $1,577.
I mean, do I have to do it, or am I able to?
Absolutely not. You don't have to sign up for any of these products, but the cool thing about the disability is you can go anywhere below $2,800, you just can't go above it. Now, I always tell people, if you don't have a whole lot of money sitting in the bank to be able to cover it, this is only 60% of your income. And so you could use it to cover the major expenses like what we call MUG, right? Which is your house payments, car payments, and groceries, or mortgage, utilities, and groceries. And this would cover up to $2,800 for that month. You can go to or below it, but not above it.
How much would $2,500 be?
So $2,500 would take it down. $2,500 would take it down to $1,408, down $1.69.
Let's just leave it at the $1,577
Just leave
then.
it at the $1,577. Yeah. Perfect. All right, so I've got a few questions just to make sure that you're eligible for the product based off the information that we've already discussed. I believe you should be, but you are working at least 17 hours a week.
Yes.
Perfect. And in the past 12 months, have you been absent from work for more than 5 consecutive days for any reason other than vacation or pregnancy?
When did I have COVID? That was No, that would have been back in 2022.
Okay. And during the past 12 months, have you been hospitalized or been advised by a member of the medical profession to get specified medical care which was not completed, such as any hospitalization, surgery, or diagnostic test, except those tests related to HIV or the AIDS virus?
So just anything that I've gone to the doctor for in the last 12 months but didn't
Anything
do?
you've been hospitalized or was told you needed medical treatment but decided not to get?
No.
Okay. And have you ever been diagnosed or treated within the past 10 years by a member of the medical profession or tested positive for AIDS or acquired immune deficiency syndrome or human immunodeficiency virus infection, or AKA HIV?
No.
In the past 12 months, have you been diagnosed or treated by a member of the medical profession for a disease or disorder of the back, neck, knee, spine, or discs?
I go to the chiropractor. Does that matter?
No, that would not impact this at all.
Okay. Then no.
You weren't told by a MD or a medical doctor that you needed to receive any type of treatment in the past 12 months for?
No, I just have been in an accident before, and it helps kind of keep the back pains away.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So are you currently unable to work or perform the normal activities of any like age and gender, or been confined at home, or have you received disability benefits or workers' compensation benefits in the past 2 years?
No.
All right. We're almost done. In the past 5 years, have you been diagnosed, treated, tested positive for, or given medical advice by a member of the medical profession for chronic liver disease, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, systemic lupus, Crohn's disease, ulcerative, I can never say that word. I know what it is, but I can't say it. Colitis or stroke?
I am chronically fatigued, but no.
Okay.
I think that's just been the last 9 years
That's
of my
being
life.
a mom, right?
Yeah.
In the past 5 years, have you been diagnosed with, treated, tested positive for, or been given medical advice by a member of the medical profession for cancer, emphysema, COPD, cardiomyopathy, carpal tunnel syndrome, kidney disease, atrial fibrillation, pancreatitis, heart valve replacement, heart attack, congestive heart failure, coronary angioplasty, angina, coronary bypass surgery, or diabetes?
No.
I know those are mouthfuls. You got to have a PhD in English to read them. But,
Yeah.
any
lot.
questions about that product?
No.
Okay, so and I'm going to read this to you at the end,
Okay.
once we wrap up. Get that one taken care of for you. And next is the accident.
Sorry. If something does happen, how do I get my money? Like, what do I do? How does that
I'm
work?
so glad you asked. So this is something I typically cover at the end, but since you
Okay.
brought it up, I think it's important we go ahead and address it. So most of our claims are processed in about 10 days.
Okay.
And so you're going to need some specific information at claims time. And so the best way to think of it is an itemized statement for anywhere you were treated. So let's
Okay.
use an accident as an example. Let's say we were in a car wreck and you were transported by an ambulance to the local hospital, and then you had follow-up visits for a broken leg. Okay, so you would need the itemized statement for everywhere that you were treated. So the ambulance, you would need an itemized statement for. The hospital, you would need an itemized statement for, and the physician that took care of you on the follow-up treatments.
Okay.
And so all of the itemized statements are important, but when it comes to disability, we also need a statement from you. It's just a page saying that what happened. The second page is signed by your employer, so Chad would get it telling us you were going to be out of work.
Okay.
And then the hospital would sign it saying that they're placing you out of work for whatever time frame that is.
Oh, okay. So the doctor has to.
Yeah,
say, okay.
just on disability. On the other ones, you can file yourself. You don't have to worry about getting anyone else to sign it other than you. And if you don't want to have to deal with finding that information yourself, we'll actually do it for you.
Oh, okay.
It's going to take a little bit longer on the claims because your physician, your doctor, wherever you're treated, they're going to respond quicker to you than they do an insurance company.
Okay.
But we're happy to help take care of it.
All right.
But the most important thing is you're going to have my contact information, and if anything happens, I want to be your first call when you start thinking of filing a claim. I don't want you to have to call a 1-800 number, talk to someone that you've never spoken to. You're going to call me directly.
I like that. That'll be nice.
Any other questions?
No.
All right. So next, and I know you're participating in the disability product, which does cover you, but you've already shared that Torin and Killian are pretty active. And so I would suggest the accident policy. If you remember when we talked about it last week, it covers any type of accident on or off the job, everything from a chipped tooth to a car crash. So ouch, that hurt, and it is you or the boys getting injured, and you seek treatment, you're going to receive a benefit. At a bare minimum, you're going to get an initial treatment benefit of $100, and then of course the more that happens, the more it's going to pay you, right? That's where I said it takes your body apart and puts a dollar amount on it. So, and if the boys, are they involved in any activities like playing any type of sports where there's someone reffing it and it's an organized sporting event?
Yeah, they do football and soccer.
Definitely a product you want to talk about. I don't know if you remember me telling the stories about my son that had the stitches in his forehead, but last year we filed 2 additional claims. One of them was my oldest broke his wrist playing football, so he got his head smashed in between 2. We got $1,700 from that claim, and then of course, we talked about the stitches one. My son also broke his finger playing basketball early on in my career. And I don't remember what that claim was, $700 coming to mind, but don't quote me on that.
Oh, wow.
But the cool thing about the sports, being involved in sports and an accident occurring, there's never a cool thing about an accident occurring. But if it happens and you're in an organized sporting event, there's an additional 25% of your claim. So if your claim's $1,000, it's going to pay you additional $250 on top of that. And that does max out at $2,000, I believe, is what the benefit amount, or up to $1,000.
Okay.
So that $1,000 would turn into $250, but it can't increase that more than $1,000.
Okay. Can I just cover the kids on this? I don't really get into any accidents.
Yeah, so that with benefits you have to cover yourself as well, but it doesn't really change the premium that much. To give you an idea, to cover just you is $4.32 per paycheck to cover you and the kids, and you don't have to do it per child. It is for both of them at the same rate, $8.64 per paycheck, which would take your total deduction up to about $25, give or take.
Okay. We'll do that one, yeah. I think we'll probably need that one.
Perfect. All right, so with this one, you do have an accidental death benefit built into it. It's going to pay up to $20,000 in an accidental death, plus the one that Chad is covering for you guys on $12,000. And so who would you like that money going to? Now, I will tell you it can go to the kids, but based off of their age, whoever was in charge of them, it would go to. So if you have someone that would, and it would go into a trust, and that person would be able to access it. So if you have someone else that you would like that money going to, I would encourage you to list them, and then you can put the kids as what's called a contingent beneficiary. And that's, Lord forbid, you and your beneficiary passed away, the money would then go to them, and it would split evenly.
Okay. We'll do my brother, Chris, because he would take the kids.
All right. And then do you want the kids listed as contingents?
Yeah, that would be fine.
All right. Sibling, brother, sister. And what is your brother's first name?
Chris. And do you need his social and everything?
No, ma'am. I just need his first and last name. I'm assuming it's Haran.
Yes.
All right. And you want that money going to him 100%?
Yeah.
And then we're going to list Torin and Killian as what's called contingent beneficiaries, which the money will split 50% between them.
Okay.
If, Lord forbid, your brother Chris was injured or deceased at the same time. Any questions on that?
No.
Okay. All right. And then the last 2 products are the ones that I say are easy to explain. The first one is what's called a critical illness plan. This covers any type of major illness. I shouldn't say any type. It covers heart attacks, strokes, cancer are the primary coverages. But it also has benefits for Alzheimer's as well as carcinoma, heart attack, end-stage renal failure, which is one that we pay a lot of claims on. Any questions on this one?
I mean, I don't think that I really need this one. I don't know. I've been pretty healthy.
Yep.
I try to stay healthy.
And based off your age, I can appreciate that. Cancers and heart attacks and things, we all are pretty much going to deal with it at some point in our lives. Most people, right? Statistically, 1 in 2 men will end up with some form of cancer in their lifetime, and 1 in 3 women. So I would like to at least give you a number so you can see what it is, because the best part about this policy is the rates never go up. So if you lock in your rate, you will pay that rate for the life of the policy. Okay, and so, and kids are covered for free at 25% of your amount. So I'll just show you some quick numbers real fast. If you decide not to get it, that's perfectly fine. Okay. Are you actively at work at least 17 hours a week?
Yes.
Perfect. And have you smoked cigarettes or used tobacco in any form within the past 12 months?
I have not.
Fantastic. I'm the insurance guy that smokes, so I know that's kind of weird. All right. So it's showing that your coverage would be $4 a week. And so $4 a week that would cover you for a $10,000 amount, and it would cover the kids at 25% of your amount. So $4.20 a week to add $10,000. And again, that's covered for heart attack, strokes, cancer, end-stage renal failure, major life events.
Can I think about that one for a minute?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list it as declined now. And if you choose to change your mind at the end, just let me know. Because we will cover everything briefly before we completely wrap up. Last but not least is our universal life policy. Now this is easy to explain. It pays if you pass away due to a major illness or injury, or for any reason you pass away, and it will pay the death benefit to any beneficiary you list. It is a universal life policy, which means it's good for your whole life. And it does build cash value as well, depending on the amount that you elect. This isn't a product you want to look at for cash value, though. This is more of a product you look at for end of days. So you pass away, who's going to cover the cost of your funeral? Who's going to cover the cost of your burial? Which in the current situation we're in the state of Tennessee, it averages about $16,000 to $20,000 for a full body burial. Cremation is a little bit different. So, do you currently have life insurance?
I have a $100,000 policy already.
Fantastic. Do you know if that is term life or whole life?
I think it's term. They said I'd have it till I was like 60, 65 or something like that, I want to say. Good.
So it's good that you have life insurance. This is important to look at because with term life insurance, it is looked at as a debt cancellation policy, right? And so if you have a $100,000 mortgage, you want to have at least $100,000 in term insurance. Now you can pick any amount you want, but term insurance is designed to help eliminate debt at your death. That way your kids would be able to take over your home without having the additional cost and all the issues that come with that. But do you have any plans for burial? How do you plan to take care of that?
Well, be cremated, so
you plan to be
a
cremated?
little cheaper.
So cremation starts at an average of about $2,000 to $5,000, depending on where you chose to get the cremation, as well as the urn and some other things that go into it. And answer a couple questions, and I can show you a few quick numbers.
Okay.
But any questions while I pull that up?
Not that I can think of right now. I mean,
Perfect.
Is there, do I have to get a certain amount? How much
So,
did it?
great question. So you can go anywhere from $10,000 up to $250,000 in coverage.
Okay.
And you can pick the amount you want. Based off the fact that you have term insurance, I would encourage you to think about the additional costs. Again, the burial, those types of things. So I think if you're looking at cremation, a $10,000 amount would be sufficient to cover that.
Okay.
But you could also leave some money to your kids in the event that they can use to adjust to no longer having mom.
Okay. So then this would go to them too, or would I have my brother be the person to get this?
You can pick and choose who you want it to go to. So you can separate it. You can have it where it goes 25% to one person and then 75% to another. You can split it evenly, 34%, 33, and 33. Or you can do like you did on the accident plan and have 100% going to your brother and then the boys listed as contingent beneficiaries.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess we'll see how much the $10,000 one is.
All right. It looks like it's going to be about $2.20
Oh,
For
okay,
the
yeah, we can.
$10,000 amount, you get a savings, a major savings because you don't smoke.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I mean, for $2, we can do that.
perfect. And you want the boys, you want the same beneficiaries listed
Yes.
as you did before?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, so that wraps up everything. And so you currently participated in all the coverages available. So you have the disability coverage, which pays you $2,800 in the event of a being placed out of work due to a sickness or an injury. You're also going to have the accident policy, which covers you and the boys. Remember, the disability just covers you. The accident policy covers you and the boys. Up to age 26. At 26, then they would fall off the policy and be eligible for their own. And then the critical illness plan, which pays that $10,000 amount for anything from a heart attack, stroke, cancer.
So for this one, I mean, because my mom had cancer. As I next year, if I wanted to change it, could I can change how much I have?
Absolutely.
Or I mean, okay.
Absolutely. You can change your amount anytime during open enrollment. To change your amount during the year, you would have to do so if there was an event like a death, a birth, a marriage.
Okay. But I could increase it next year if I wanted to.
Absolutely could increase it next year.
All right. What about with the life insurance? If
Yep.
I end up changing my mind, I can do that too?
Absolutely. Same thing with the life insurance. All the premiums you can adjust during open enrollment, and of course you can cancel at any time.
Okay. So if it just ends up, how much did I end up with per week?
So your total would be $30.21 per paycheck.
It's about an hour. Okay.
Yep. And so we always say you never want to put more than about an hour to an hour and a half's wage a week into supplemental benefits, especially in the beginning. And based off of you being paid around $31 an hour, that stays within that hour wage a week. And so, any questions on that?
Not that I can think of right now. I'm sure I always walk away with like a million questions. So
You're going to have my contact
Okay.
information, as well as you're going to get an email with details on your policies.
Okay.
And you can elect to have those mailed or emailed. We put it in as an email currently, but once you log in, you can request them to be mailed to your house as well. So if you don't have any questions, I just need to get a few quick signatures from you. But before I jump into the signature part of it, I want to make sure that you answered all the questions to the best of your ability.
I have.
Okay, so with insurance, it's important that you are completely 100% honest with all of that, because it only hurts you at the time of claim. It's not going to affect you until claim time comes. But were there any questions I asked that you needed to change, or does everything look perfect?
No, everything looks good.
Awesome. Well, I just need you to sign in this box.
And this all is going to come out of my paycheck?
Yep, it's all going to come out of your paycheck.
Okay.
The best part about our products is they're portable, so if for any reason you left here, you could take the products with you. Just make sure you reach out to me, and I will get some information from you to transfer it to a bank account.
Oh, so then
Or
I would
to
just.
your new employer.
Oh, okay. So I can transfer this if I get a different job.
Yep, at any time.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Cool. Have you sign right here. Last thing, while you're signing that,
Oh, it's not touching
it's an iPad, so you can sign on the screen. Yep. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have beautiful handwriting.
Thank you.
All right. So
tried
everything
hard.
is complete. So remember, the policies don't go into effect until your first paycheck in September. So I believe that's September 2nd, which is the first Friday in September. On the accident policy, you will be covered day one. And what I mean by that is on the disability, if you were to be involved in an accident and had to miss work, you could get hurt September 1st and it would cover you. Same thing with the accident plan. The other policies have what's called a 30-day waiting period, which means you have to have them in place for 30 days before they will cover you.
Okay.
But on September 30th, you'll be covered 100% on everything. You're still covered an accident day one, but the sickness benefits won't kick in until you've had it at least 30 days.
So if I get sick during September, but I don't start getting treated until later, do I get the payment then? Or?
So as long as you didn't seek treatment during September, you
Okay.
would be. But if for any reason you went to the doctor and they found something and that happened September 29th, it wouldn't cover even future treatments. So
Okay.
the diagnosis has to happen after that 30 days. And that helps keep insurance, people don't buy insurance just to cover something they know they have upcoming.
Okay.
So any questions?
Not that I can think of.
Cool. So
Right
two
now.
things before we wrap up. The first thing is, it's toughest part of my job is being able to get in front of people to discuss about what these products are. And as you've even stated when you sat down, you didn't think there was necessarily a need for it, right?
Right.
And so the toughest part of my job is being able to get in front of people to have the conversation. They don't have to participate in anything, but we want to make sure that we can educate them on all of our products. If you would, take a minute and fill out this form. This would be who else you know that you would love to be educated on what these products cover.
I mean, I can't really think of anybody. I don't know what kind of insurance everybody has. I mean, I don't know if they've already got it or not already.
Yeah, and that's great. If they do, no worries. We're still a source for them. So let's say they already had combined, and I reached out to them and I found out that their agent was Johnny Thompson, then I would make sure I let Johnny know that I received an introduction to discuss supplemental benefits from you, and that I'd reach out to one of his clients just as a formality.
Okay. Can you only help people in Tennessee, or?
I can help people anywhere in the nation. They have to be within the continental U.S.
Okay.
But as long as they're within the continental U.S., they would be great.
I mean, my friend Nikki probably, but she's in Colorado.
Perfect.
Okay. I don't know. I can't really think of too many people right now.
No worries, no worries. You can take this home with you. So I'm gonna, if you don't mind, if you'll grab your cell phone, I'm gonna put Nikki's contact information down.
Okay.
A great way to introduce us would be to shoot her a text message and copy me, and just to say, hey Nikki, this is Brandon. I think it's important you spend a few minutes talking to him, and it's about supplemental benefits. You can say whatever you want, but just that way we can have the communication together.
Okay. All right. I'm going to send. I saved your number in my phone. Can I just?
Perfect.
I'll just do that then and text you both.
And last but not least is you have Chris listed as your beneficiary.
Yes.
So I want to make sure that I reach out to him to introduce myself. That way, like you program my number in your phone, I want to make sure he programs my number in your phone. That way, Lord forbid, the time comes and you need help filing a claim. You've been in a major accident. Chris knows how to get a hold of me. Or Lord forbid, you passed away. Chris wouldn't have to go digging for information. He would already know who he was going to contact. And that's a familiar face.
Okay.
So would you mind if I reach out to him to let him know that you have this coverage and that he is listed as the beneficiary?
I mean, yeah, sure. He can be a weirdo sometimes about people he doesn't know. I'm calling him. So
I like him weirder the better. The weirder the better. So I'm going to reach out to him. Another thing, if you wouldn't mind, you're welcome to shoot him a text and let him know to expect my call.
Okay.
And then I'm going to call him and just to kind of give the formalities of, hey, this is what the situation is, and that you have this coverage, and Lord forbid something happened, you could reach out directly to me.
Okay.
You have Nikki. Do you mind if I talk to Chris about his supplemental benefit options and what he currently has?
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea what he has, so
Perfect.
sure.
Fantastic.
If he'll talk to you about it, go right ahead.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you so much. Any questions before we wrap up here today?
I don't believe so.
You still have a copy of everything from last week?
Yeah, it's just at home. I just forgot it there.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much, Taz, and I'll let you know how it goes with Chris and Nikki. And again, don't forget to look out for your paycheck. Make sure that that $30.41 comes out of your paycheck starting on September 2nd.
And you said I'll get everything in an email,
You'll
right?
get an email.
Okay.
Yep, you'll get everything in an email. If something happens, you don't receive an email, make sure you reach out to me, and then I will see what's going on, because we may not wrap up here until the middle of August, so nothing will be transmitted until then anyway.
Gotcha. So by September,
By
I should have.
September,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right.